Hi, this is Val with Vocart Wings. Today I'm going to go over how I choose a cover for a journal and what I want to make it out of. And there's several options. And these are all materials that you might have on hand or you're getting ready to discard. Um, I buy a lot of uh, used books, uh, you know, books that are ready to go in the junk pile because somebody's taken them to the beach or left them outside and the pages have gotten rippled, and we love all that kind of thing in our junk journals, but the normal person would think that book was ruined. But anyways, there's more things that you can make a journal out of than buying a book, gutting it, and using the cover. I've got a few examples here of what I do have. Yeah, I'll go through a yard sale and find books in different shapes and sizes, not your normal, like 5 by 9. And I like the sewed in pages if I can get it rather than glued in. And so I will cut the book. Well, to begin with, I try and do it gently by opening up a signature, and you can see the threads in the middle. I had an example here and I was cleaning up. I'm so sorry I put it away. But anyways, you can get books that the pages are sewn in a pamphlet stitch is what we call it. It could be 3 holes, it could be 9 holes, it just doesn't matter. But the signatures are your pages that you're putting in, maybe 4 to 10 pages each signature. It varies. But you will sew through the center of those signatures right through what we call the spine of the book. And with something this, I tend to make pretty good sized journals. I like them to last at least for a 30-month period. I mean, a 30-day period, month to month. Sometimes I'll use one for a 12-month period. But anyways, with this one, this is really like a one signature book. And if I wanted to have something light and easy, or maybe the pages are removable and I could put another insert in, then I'll leave the spine as is. If I think I'm going to use this as a journal, and I love the size of this, it's a little square. Let's see, it's 8 by 8. I think it's just really a cute square. But anyways, you can see what I did was I cut right straight through the binding after removing the papers. And so it needs a little trimming up and cleaning up, but I'll cover that with paper products or fabric. But you can use any kind of discarded book. I tend to go with boxes from the grocery store. My husband will he loves to pick these up at Aldi's. It's his favorite cookie. So I tend to have more than one on hand. And the reason why I like 2 matching is because in my demo, I'll show you why. I sandwich 2 together and it really reinforces the journal. It makes it really nice and firm. So it doesn't matter what size you've got, but what you do is you open it fully, both top and bottom, and it's easy to store away in this flat condition. And then when you're ready to make a journal, you get 2 of the same product or 2 that are the same size, and bind them together, glue them together so you can make a cover. Anything goes. I love to do the shipping wrappers. They have noise to them. They've got a nice substantial weight. They're waterproofed. Just really, I'm sorry, it's allergy season, so I might cough here and there, and I apologize. But I love to use these for a soft cover, and I might cover them I always cover them in fabric, and it might be an old piece of cutter quilt, that's damaged beyond repair, or just an old fabric that I've got on hand. So I like to use those. Also, you can use different paper products. Might be the back of a spiral notebook. You can use the front and the back, or you can just, it's got some give to it, but it's still sturdy. I mean, it does bend. It could fold in the wrong place, but you can cut it right in half. It makes a good size for a cover. And we've got folders. A lot of people use these hanging folders or regular file folders, and you cut them to size. You wouldn't want, well, you could want something like this to keep your, put some large pockets on it, and you keep all the materials you're going to use for each journal when you start making one. And that makes it really handy, I think, especially with the pockets sewn in. And you do the same thing with the hanging file folders, but they're a little bit bigger, and you can get even bigger than this. But I like this because you've got double the weight, and then when you fold it in half like this, it makes a great size for a journal, and then you've really bulked it up when you use the whole unit like this. Of course, you can cut it down so you only use one side, and you say this is your cover and another one over here for a cover, but I like the substantial weight to this. So I've decided to do this journal out of a vanilla wafers box. And so you can see I have two here. So what I've done is I always look inside to see which one do we have the overlap on. And I feel like that gives more sturdiness to the spine. And I always leave the tabs that are at the ends. And that makes it more substantial on the spine. And I save the spine in case I need it for this one, if I need to bulk it up and make it stronger. But I might need it for another journal, or even a belly band or a pocket. So real quickly, I'll go ahead and cut this one down. I can see, look inside, and I can see the overlap here. So this is going to be my papers on the end of the journal that you can see. And then the fold over area that I leave will be my spine. And I can use both of these to really bulk it up if I want to have removable signatures. I could keep this on, and I have done that before, and that adds substantial weight to the ends. I could do that still with this one and glue it to the inside, the flaps to the inside in between the two boxes, and that'll make it really substantial on the two ends. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate doing it that way, but I'm only going to use I don't want it too bulky because it won't be as bulky here. So I'm going to leave all the ends tabs to this one. And then this one, I've removed the top and bottom, except for where I'm going to use this for my spine. So the next step is to glue things together. For that, I want something that holds well. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. I just want that held down. I'm pushing down really hard with the handle of my scissors for that edge to be sharp. And I don't have any clips with me, but all I have to do is weight this down and get an extra hand here, but it should set up fairly quickly. And it didn't have to be strategic with the glue. I know that's gonna, I'm gonna, by the time I get it all glued down and sewn together, it's gonna hold tight. Okay, so now for the next step, I'm gonna put my glue at the top, close to the edge, all through here. Like I said, it's not, I don't need a lot. I just need enough that's going to hold. All right. And I'm going to push those tabs down and attach box to box. And press those edges. Hope I'm in frame here. I think that the side that I've got the rounded edge, I'm going to put on the outside as my cover edge. So that's what edge I'm going to follow for sizing. And that's shifted a little bit, so I'm checking my corners as I go. Now, if I was covering with a thinner fabric, I would definitely have all my clips around here, letting it set up for a substantial amount of time, say 20 minutes at the most, but some time involved. And the reason why I would do that is because I want to make sure all that glue holds up and everything stays together. But the way I'm going to cover this one, it really doesn't matter. Now, I went to an estate sale years ago, and I picked up this upholstery fabric. I got a whole box of upholstery fabrics from that estate sale. Huge box, a lot of very unattractive fabrics, but some that were really beautiful, some damasks and so on. This is kind of like a grass cloth wallpaper. Back in the 70s, I hung wallpaper, and we hung a grass cloth that was a pain in the neck because if you've got any glue touching any area, it shouted and you had to start over again. You had to have a clean slate here. So wallpapering was a great job at the time, but I didn't like hanging grass cloth of all the fabric, all the papers that we hung. Okay, so I've got, I know that which side's my outside. Yeah, like this. Okay. This is my outside. This is the back side of my fabric, and I want it attached this way. So what I'm going to do is I'll flip that over. This is the outside of my book. It's got all the folded over edges on this side. I'm going around the perimeter, and you can see I don't have a steady hand, but that's okay. I don't need it. And I'm putting glue all over the main part of the flat part. I'm not going to make a big issue over how it goes on, and if it's, I'm not going to spread it because this particular fabric has a bonding agent on it, and that's why it's yellow on the inside. It's kind of a glue that goes on it. And so I'm going to lay this edge to edge. I have barely enough, as you can see. I should have put it more at the end, the top or the bottom, but that's okay. So now I'm going to let that sit up for a little bit, and then I'll come back to you and show you some of the other things that I've got picked out to use in this journal. All right? Okay, it's glued down and dried pretty good. So I'm going to take my pinking shears and go all the way around the perimeter now. And it might not be perfectly straight. I don't do anything perfectly straight these days. My hands are kind of shaky sometimes, and you know, my eyesight's not what it used to be, but I do the best I can. And that doesn't look too bad, does it? I can see it's not perfect, but and why I'm leaving it, I'm going close, but not all the way up to the edge, but close. And the reason why is I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and sew all the way around the perimeter. That's why if the glue came undone in any place on the in the cover, the cardboard part, the boxes glued together, it won't matter because I'm sandwiching it in with something else. Now, I could use paper to do the inside of this. Let me grab a piece. I could use just brown paper sacking to cover the inside. You can see, you can't see the pattern underneath. And that crinkled look is very attractive. I could use, let's see, I have other papers in here. I actually have some of this woven packaging, but it's got a nice, so I know it's sturdy, and I could use a little bit of that on the inside. You can't see through that. But with this one, I'm going to use fabric. So I have a couple of pieces picked out. I have a surplus of fabrics because they used to make dolls and Santas and, you know, all kinds of things they sold to stores. Now, I've got some tea-dyed muslin. Let's see. You can see a little bit of the patterning underneath, so I don't want to use that. I could use it for ruffling on the edge, or I could put another piece. I could make it a little bit bigger than the whole journal and then add another piece of fabric if I wanted to. I've got this one that's a really cute little pattern. It has just the slightest little rust dot in the flower. So I could do that. Let's see if I have enough to cover the whole thing, because it's been cut into, that's for sure. Yeah, I have plenty. I could do that. I don't see the pattern coming through it. I know that the glue's going to be a problem, but if I'm careful and spread the glue out, maybe it won't bleed through. And this is another piece that I have. I'm opening it up. That is a really cute little tiny flower. Oh, you could definitely see through that, so that's not going to work. Okay, that was the one I was choosing. So now I know that I can do 2 layers of the muslin in that one of these, the lighter print, or I can go straight with this on here. I think what I'm going to do is tear it so it has a frayed edge. Let's see, I need it. I want it a little bigger, and I'll trim it up later. Well, I don't know if this long edge is straight, so the first thing I'm going to do is tear this front edge, this top edge. Oh, yeah, see? So it really is going to need to be cut maybe at this end. Yeah, it was coming down, I could tell. All right, now I can lay it down and see how it's going to be. Oh, well, I could start here. I'll cut it from this and afraid tear that. Now I have 2 sides ready in the fringe. Okay, and you can see I want to go a little bit bigger. I tell you what would be easier. Why don't I do this? This is dumb, foul. Okay, I want a little bit bigger. Or I can keep it there. Yeah, I think I will. And then tear this just a little longer than what I've already got torn. Hopefully I've torn it in the right places. I always have more fabric, so it doesn't matter. I can always get another piece of a different pattern. But, oh, that looks good. And then I'm going to tear it here. Now, if I need it, if it's protruding too far over after I get it on here, if the raw edge is coming over too far, I won't be too happy with that. So now I need some clips. And I bought I used to quilt way before they invented these things, but I don't take the time to, my hands, it's too hard to do hand stitching these days. So I'm going to put some glue on this, just, I think, around the top. And then if the glue bleeds through, I'll add lace. So if I just do it at the edge before I'm sewing it, I really don't need to glue it. I could have just used a glue stick to hold it in position and the clips. But this makes sure it's really bound tight. All right. Now, I'm not putting it in the middle of the thing. I know it will bleed through the fabric. The glue will bleed through this fabric, and it won't be attractive. So here we go. I'm going to try and get this on here straight and not glue in the wrong places. Okay, I have more hanging off this, the one end than the other. So I'm going to shift it a little. Trying to line up the two, the end and the top and the bottom all at one time. And I want more hanging off here. There we go. Pull it up and push it back down. But I want it to be a snug fit. So when I sew it, I want it to be snug on here, because when I sew it, I don't want a lot of bulk wadding up on the inside. I don't like that look. Okay. Good enough. Yeah, that'll be fine, because any place that it does want to bulk up, I need to glue a little more. I've done this so many times before, and if I spread the glue sometimes with one of those little plastic spatulas that everybody uses, or a credit card, whatever you have on hand as a tool, it tends to bleed through no matter what. Okay, I'm going to stop here and go to the sewing machine. Okay, I'm done sewing all the way around it. This is so much easier than wrapping over the edge, especially with upholstery weight fabric. It's thick. It really gives a good weight to your cover. And this is lightweight thin cotton that I used, so it doesn't add, really, it's almost like weightless and invisible. But I wanted to do a neutral tone journal out of the things that I've been doing in my how-tos. So this is what where I'm gonna put a lot of them. And so you can see that the cardboard's sandwiched in between the two fabrics. You don't see the cardboard. See? And I have no glue bleeding anywhere. All right, you could probably see it just a hint on the edge where I put the glue and I shifted the fabric a little when I was putting it together, but you can barely see anything. And I think what I'll do is, I'm not 100% sold on the edging, even though it's nice and tight and everything. That, for the purposes of that, is great. But decorative-wise, I think I'm going to probably go around it with some trim. Now, I've got something picked out. I was talking about the fabrics in that bin that I bought, the estate sales. They were all upholstery weight. This is one of them. And if I saw this, I don't think I'd make a whole cover out of it. But when you look at the colors, it's really actually beautiful. So I think what I'm going to do, I cut out a section, and I think that would look kind of cute on this, especially since I'm doing neutral tones. I think that has a lot of impact, but you'd have to like warm colors. I could cut the hole bigger and put this little frame on top even. And I think that's really cute if I remove that bit of fabric. I could put something else right. Oh, I've got a little plaque here. It's got a tape mark on it. But I could stain that or paint it and put it right over that gap. You can't see where I cut it. I forget why I cut that hole in there. I think one of the cardboard boxes has a cellophane window in it, but the boxes I use don't. And for all purposes, I'm going to use this one and show you how you can use things that weren't really made for what the project you were making at the time. I do love that idea of putting that on there. And then I found this cutout of the word joy. And I think of Thanksgiving with earthy tones, but I like earthy tones year round, so that wouldn't matter to me. Joy, I kind of think I want to save that for a Christmas journal, so I'm going to put that aside. I do have this little butterfly that I could put on here. I could put a saying later on here. If you wanted to, you could also add leaves. Paint this maybe in orange and then put the leaves on it. They're already stained. For all purposes here, I think I'm going to do the butterfly in the center. So that's just an idea I'm tossing around. It's either that one or cut the hole a little bit bigger for this one. So to keep this short, that's it. I'm going to come back with the next installment, and we'll have a decision made for the decorating of the top and how I trim it out. And we'll have the journal cover finished and ready to pick out our papers and pockets and all that good stuff. Okay, thanks for watching. Come back again. That's it in a nutshell. See you then. Bye-bye.